welcome to another week in my garden. It's a beautiful sunny day. We started this morning with a good frost which has burnt the top of some of the potatoes, but there's plenty underground so they'll be fine now. Today we're starting by building the squash frame. So I put one side up and I've dug the holes and put the other side up, and then we'll pop the roof on and screw it all down. We'll have to wait a few days before we put the squashes in, but it won't be long now. So we'll just show you what we've done. This is the first side I put up. I dug some deep holes about 2 feet deep right down to the clay bed. I've buried the posts about 2 feet deep. I haven't concreted them in or anything. They're just pushed into the clay at the bottom and then backfilled with good soil. Now I've put the other side into the holes. There might still be a little bit of manoeuvring to do. It is perfectly level across, but there might be a little bit of manoeuvring to match the top. So I've left the holes open. They've got a good base underneath them, so they're not going to move. Now I put a cross piece on and put the spirit level on that shows its level. I'll just show you. If you put this is straight edge, as you can see it's nice and level. Both sides are level, so we now need just to put the top on, a little bit of adjustment, and then backfill these holes. I'm glad that fitted. I just pop some clamps on it to hold it, and then we'll square it through. Right, I'm just clamping the ends to hold this side straight. This is the straight side, and then we'll adjust the other side to suit, and then we'll screw it down. They're nice and tight now. Now we use the other clamps and square the other end to it. I just clamp this side now, make it nice and tight, and we can check it and then screw it into position. I'll just clamp this side now. This is the last piece. Make sure it's nice and squared together with a little bit of spring in it. That's it, it's all nice and tight now, it's safe now. When you're working on your own, you need lots of clamps to take the effort out of it for you. I don't know what I'd done without these clamps. But it's all secure now. Now we'll screw it down and make it safe. Backfill the holes and put a cross piece in just to tie it on the corners, and that'll be fine. Right, I'm just going to pre-drill 4 holes and put some big 4-inch screws in to hold the top down, and then we'll put the steel brackets on the inside as well, just to make sure it's safe. So I'll drill these in and get them screwed down. I'll put all 4 screws in, and then I'll show you when we're finished. This is the frame now finished for the squashes and the smaller pumpkins we'll put on this. we'll grow them up and hopefully across the top, so the hanging side, it's quite substantial, it's very, very strong. I've just put the corner braces on, and they have a steel brace as well, plus the screws holding the sides down. The top I've put 2.5 inch pieces across, just to take the weight in the middle, stop any slump in the middle, so that'll take the weight of many. I'm pleased how it's turned out. As normal, we didn't have a drawing or anything to do it, we just bought the wood and did it. But it's all tannalised and it should last a few seasons. We'll probably be able to lift it out and move it around the garden on the rotations anyway. It looks a good piece of kit. While we're down here, and now we've finished the squash frame, as I like to call it now, we'll pick some rhubarb. You see it's doing rather well. We'll harvest it today, and then we'll keep taking it as and when basis until it gets sort of middle of next to end of next month, and then we'll stop and let it grow on and strengthen for next year. Now this is the rhubarb. As you can see, it's stood very, very well. Because we just want to make a few puddings, I'm going to try and take the redder stalks and let the others redden off in the sunshine. Right, we'll take a fair bit of rhubarb. I think there's a lot ready. Now if you can remember how we pick it, we follow it all the way down to the bottom. Both hands, just give it a twist and pull and get the whole piece. See, like that, that's ideal. And then your knife, remember to cut the back first, an inch and a half down from the leaves, cut the back, turn it over and then strike through, and that's done. We've got a nice chug today, so we'll fill the chug. Right, so I'll get on with the picking and I'll show you when we're finished. And there you are, that's a lovely pick of rhubarb, nice and red and sweet. That's going to be very, very nice. What we don't use we'll put to freeze, but we'll use most of it. We'll have some lovely puddings out of that. Right, we're on bed C now, the main crop potato bed, and we had quite a frost this morning. It has touched some of the potatoes. I'll show you those that's been touched. Now if they have had them, don't worry too much. As long as you've ridged them up, there's enough under the soil to break through the top again. So I'll just show you, they're hit quite hard. That's really took a hit, and yet the one next to it has not been touched. This one's took a hit and this one hasn't. So it's a case of where the cold actually runs down the garden, or where there was no wind. It's the cold air falling. I'm just picking a few of the radish out of the frame here. There's only a few, but they're very, very nice. And that'll be the end of that row. Now we're waiting for the next row to be ready in the next frame. Obviously the cold weather's now slowing them down a little. And I'll just have a look, see how the granddaughter's purple ones is doing. I've just pulled one out to have a look. As you can see, they're beginning to swell now, so we'll have some in the next few weeks, I think. Quite purple as well. They'll be interesting. The lettuce in the second frame is doing very, very well. I was thinking it might have had a bit of frost, but the mesh has held it off again, so it's doing rather well. There's some celery here that I'll put the next mesh tunnel up, and that can go into that this week. Another line of radish there. It all seems to be doing very, very well. I'm going to hopefully tomorrow put another mesh tunnel up down the side of the onions. It's the bed that has taken quite a bit of manure this year, so it'll have some good soil in it. Celery, the beetroot, and I'll start the leeks in that tunnel, and then we'll also add into there the salad crops, because I need these frames for the late set of the carrots. I want to fill this one with late carrots. As soon as we get these out and into that mesh tunnel, we can start setting. Hello there. Friday today. We've actually had some rain this morning, the first rain we've had for weeks, so quite happy with it. You could have counted the amount of drops we had, but we had rain, so we must be grateful for what little bit of rain we got. It's completely dried off what's come down, and I shall still be watering tonight because it's so dry. Now I'm down here on bed C. This is the bed that we put all the manure in last year, so it's the onion bed. I've put another mesh tunnel up for the celery, the beetroot, and some salad crops. I wasn't going to put the frame up, but we've still got a massive pigeon problem around here, so the frames had to go up, I'm afraid. This is what I'm going to put in the frame. There's some celery and some beetroot all ready to go in. These are not quite ready, but we'll put them in anyway. The leeks are in the frame, but they're not going to be planted in the frame. I'm hoping to put those where the broad beans are, so the broad beans will leave the nitrogen behind and then just pick them up. I'm a bit concerned with the celery this year because it's biannual, and that means it'll grow one year and flower the next. While these have been growing, as long as the temperature doesn't drop below 10 degrees, they'll be fine. But I think with that cold spell we've just had, and these have been in the frame, that the temperature has gone down below 10 while they've been growing, and that means they will think it's their second year and they will run to seed this year. So bearing that in mind, I'm going to plant these in a block at the far end, and I'm going to, it'll be tomorrow now, I'll call in and get some more celery seed and get those in, and then put another block in. They'll be a bit late, but they'll be fine. They're no good if they're going to run to seed. I'm going to plant this morning and show you it just being finished, but the little bit of rain held me off a little. So we'll go up to the greenhouse and we'll have a look at those tomatoes we grafted. As we just walk up the garden, I just thought we'd stop and have a look at the wisteria. It's sinensis, I think. It's just the blue one. The frost has touched one or two of the flowers, but the rest are coming out nicely. It's very, very old and it doesn't grow much, but the scent is absolutely beautiful. While we're just passing, as you can see, the lilac's still out and full flower. The frost haven't touched that. There was one day this week the whole of the garden was covered in frost, but we've got away with it. And again, another nice scent coming off them. I'm just putting some tapes on these fuchsias that we're taking up for standards. They're still doing quite well, they're still growing well. I also, any flowers that try to show, I take them off. We're not wanting flowers just yet, but we'll just keep them against those canes, and when they get to here we'll start and pop them on and sort them out. Now the tomatoes that we grafted. They seem to have taken, so today we'll remove all these. I haven't touched them since we did it, so you can see how they've progressed. We'll take these side shoots off just to lessen the draw on the root, and we'll whip it out the pot, cut this one off, and then we'll pot it so that the sap has got to come up that way. Then it'll either go or die. It's a bit risky, this is. Here we are, here's the first one that we'll do. First of all, we'll take these side shoots off just to lessen the draw on hopefully the new grass. So we just pop those on. That looks fine. So let's take it out of the pot and I'll just get rid of these. We'll just ease it out. If you remember, we only potted it lightly, but it's been growing. So we just need to just pull these roots a little bit to get this one off. So now we'll do the drastic piece and we're going to cut this completely off, okay? We'll cut it a bit of an angle, look. There you are. So we'll take this root away now. This root's finished. I've got to support the other one all the time in case it snaps. Right, there we are. Now we'll put this straight into a pot down here, look. I'm going to put him in here so I can support it on this cane. Well, it's a wood, not cane. So I'll put the tie on ready, and it's the usual with your ties. Twice round the support, and then once round your plant. Okay, that's fine. We'll just do that. We'll pull that through, and then I'll get the knife and cut it off. If you do it like that, if you need to, at some stage you need to loosen it or tighten it, you can do. I'll just cut these off now. Right, so now as you can see, the grafting tape could actually restrict the plant now, and as this one we don't use anyway, so we're just going to just lightly, very right, that's it. I'll leave it at that now. That will drop off as a water. I better get some compost and get some water into this poor plant. Compost I'm using is just good potting compost with a bit of grit in. All the feed I'm going to give these tomatoes, or all the feed they'll need, I'll give them. And they won't need any in the compost. The amount of water you give them, it'll just flush through. So I'll give it a drink, and then we'll do the others and we'll see what happens. And give it a drink. I always keep cans of water in the greenhouse, so I'm not pouring freezing cold water on them all the time. So the water's the same temperature as the plants. And give it plenty, and then we'll see tomorrow whether it's up or down or whatever. There's the next one. Same again. We take the side shoots off. I would have normally taken those off, but I didn't want to touch them until you came back to me when we did it. It's best if you take these off first thing in the morning. They seem to break easier. I'll just get rid of these. Right, I'm actually going to pop this one back into this pot once I've taken the root off. So let's just take them out. They're growing awfully well, aren't they? Just going back in there. It ought to go in a bigger one really. There. We'll put it in a bigger pot, being that it's been grafted, we'll make a fuss of it. Right, so I'm kneeling down a bit. So as you can see, the two roots, remember this is the one we're going to cut off, but the graft looks well. So we'll just loosen the compost first. Looks a bit drastic, but you've got to get that root ball away from the other one. And I think that's it now. So here we'll do the cut on this one. There. Got anything that wants now has got to come up this one. What we'll do is we'll leave it for a couple of days, and if it's growing all right, then we'll just cut that off at an angle and take that away. So let's take this root away. It looks terribly drastic, but I'm sure it'll be fine. And then into its new pot. We're very short of room in the greenhouse at the moment. As soon as the weather gets a bit better, we'll start moving the plants out. Can you just hold that while I get the stick? Thank you. And do remember that these will want support all the time. And with this one, We'll just use the taping machine and pop. We'll just pop a couple round, just hold it. Then I must give it a good drink. And I'll just put one round there, I think, just to hold that graft. And then we'll strike that with the blade, and then that will do. I think it'd be easier if we use grafting clips as well as tape, but we'll see. Very, very gentle. I'm hardly touching it all, I'm just scratching the surface, look, and then I'm going to leave it. Then as it grows, it'll break that off itself. We'll just push that down, and we'll give it a nice drink of that warm water. Plenty of water. Now this one is a bit loose on the, so we'll have a quick, it'll probably do no good, but you can see the graft has taken. It's still very weak graft, but it's definitely taken. So I should pop this tape back on and then get it potted. I think in reality to do them before they get quite this big, but with that cold weather coming, I closed the greenhouse up and all my tomatoes are now this big, and I've had to take them down the garden and put them in the frame, and they've actually been touched a little with the frost. So I've got some sorting to do with the tomatoes this year. I'm sure we'll have enough. I think we will, because I put plenty in. Right, so that should hold on there, hopefully, while we get it out the pot and get it done. Okay, so let's take it out. Oh, let's take these off first, look. Mustn't forget those. It's a nice strong plant. Right, so let's just turn it over and take it out. There we are. We'll put this one back in the same pot, because it's a nice big pot. Now remember, we want that one to go up into there, so we're actually going to take this off. I just hope these are going to take. Right, so we're going to go in and break that root ball. Like that. That's it, it's gone. Always keep support on your tomato while you do it. Then this is the one we're going to take off, look, because this is the one, and that's the graft. So take it off at an angle, not too particular. And then that's finished. We'll take that away, and we'll carefully put it back into its pot. Give it some nice fresh compost, always supporting it. I'll get the compost on. And do have a go at doing it. If you do it with some spare tomatoes, and then if you lose them, there's no loss, but it's an experience, and then you get better and better at it as the more you do. I haven't done it for years, but I'm sure it can't, I'm sure it's not too difficult. Must support them, and we'll put some tape on it. If you're doing taping machine, remember to always go from the cane or the stick in to the plant. Don't pull on the plant. They've actually got tomatoes on, so we'll see. Well, they've got flowers on, not tomatoes, sorry. Let's give that another one, just hold that steady. There you are. We'll give it a drink, and hopefully we've done the tomato graft for you. Now we've done the tomato grafts. Now obviously they won't all take. Any that don't take, or all three that don't take, obviously it's Diane's fault. Okay. And while I'm just finishing these two off, if you look round the greenhouse, it's full of flowers, and they smell absolutely beautiful in here. Some of the squashes and the pumpkins that the granddaughters sent, they'll be going down on that nice arch we've made. A few peppers, loads of geraniums. Remember, these are our overwintered geraniums, and don't they look good? Very, very pleased with those. A few more peppers there. Now the impatiens, the ones in the 9cm liners, they'll be used to grow on a little bit, and then Diane will use those in the hanging baskets and pots around the house. But these, now these are potted into these little cells, and these are for something we're going to show you next week. So we'll use all these next week, doing something a little bit different. We might also be filling some of the hanging baskets. Got loads of these plants ready for the hanging baskets, and they look beautiful. So, oh, look at this one. Just look at that. That is nice. I must have chose that one, you know. That's nice. Don't like the yellow one so much. But there's another cracker there, look, that's beautiful. But these will be for the hanging baskets and pots around the cottage. We'll start on those hopefully next week. We'll have to start on them soon because I need the room to put the tomatoes in here. I need to get these tables out. These are my courgettes, still waiting for the warmer weather before they go down. There's some more plants there, big fuchsias at the back growing on. Diane bought two little melons here. They'll go down onto the arch with the squashes. They'll be nice if you can get them going on there. Obviously not until the weather warms up quite a little bit. I don't know how much she paid for them. Oh my goodness. Never mind. As long as they grow, I don't mind. There's a few more of the squashes and pumpkins that the granddaughters sent me. I put all the seed in the end. I didn't know how old it was, so I thought it's best to put them in. Well, it's Friday today, but it's a bit overcast now. I might get some more rain. That would be wonderful. Now, I just want to thank everybody who subscribed to the channel and tell you that we do appreciate it, and thank you. Next week we'll be planting a couple of baskets, start getting ready. I slang them in here, that's what the hooks are for in this greenhouse. And I shall hopefully be planting the rest of my tomatoes in the boxes, and we'll hope, if the frost sold off, we'll be planting more things out in the garden. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye now.